So, reflecting the here and now, Paccuppanna Dhamma, it's remembering, isn't it? This what I'm doing now is remembering, using memory to reflect on the way it is. So these words like here and now, Paccuppanna Dhamma, is just a way of informing consciousness of the way it is. It's not a defining or describing anything, but a pointing. So this is how the Buddha teaches. It's not doctrine, definitions, but about pointing here and now. The Four Noble Truths here and now, this suffering, its causes, cessation, and path, is about here and now. Where we use language for thinking and analyzing, comparing, criticizing, evaluating, and comparing one thing with another. So that's generally how we're culturally conditioned to use our thinking process as a critical function. And then we're not informed on how to use thinking or the thinking process or memory in a way that leads to liberation, freedom from delusion. So our thinking tends to create more delusions. Like the Sakkaya Ditthi personality view is an illusion that most people are firmly committed to and operate from this perception of I'm this body, this person, these qualities, and on like that. It is a cultural conditioning. The values and principles of my culture, of my group, my religion, the thinking process then is a description, defining, comparing, evaluating. And just notice that when we use this word dualistic, that thinking is a dualistic function. Its purpose, what it does to consciousness is divide and separate. So you have, whatever thought you have, it has its opposite. So when the Buddha emphasizing mindfulness, which is not about thinking or choosing an object to become, but to remember the reality of now, here and now, Paccuppanna Dhamma. The posture now, the breathing now, the state of mind, the mood, the emotional state you're in, the whatever conditions that you have at this moment that are operating through your consciousness. Mindfulness, sati sampajanya, allows us to observe, to be the knower of the conditions rather than the owner, the person that has these problems, the person that is limited, bound by what you're feeling, or the physical body, or the prejudices, biases that you might be, your culture, your conditioning might manifest in the present moment. So this is not like an attack on conditions. It's not, because that would be another condition. We're saying all conditions, we're looking at them as in terms of characteristics of impermanence and not self, rather than as good or bad. Conditioned phenomena can has its range of the best to the worst, right and wrong. But awareness of conditions, and if we couldn't be aware of conditions, then we would be helpless victims of our conditioning. There'd be no escape from the born, the created, the form that originated. We'd be stuck with the package that we kind of acquired through circumstances or whatever. But because there's the unborn, uncreated, unformed, unconditioned, there is an escape from the born, the created, the formed, the conditioned. Now, this particular teaching then is a reflective one. It's not for grasping and to make anything out of it, but to reflect from it. It's a reminder, like Paccuppanna Dhamma. It's not saying this moment is the best moment, or comparing it with memories of previous moments. It's just the reminding, awaken, be fully here, present, here and now. And then people ask me, how do you do that? And I can't describe how you can be mindful, it's just awe. So then the Ajahn Amaro, Ajahn Pasano, the book they wrote, it's been in the process of being printed for publication, called The Island, and it's now received copies. Hopefully we'll receive more copies. They sent just a few. But this is this Ajahn Amaro that's very much consulting me. I wrote a preface for it, and it's about this. The island is a metaphor and it's you use this. The metaphor is for reflection. It's a kind of taking a symbol for something. And so this metaphor of the island, that which you can't go beyond. So an island is, say, in the middle of the ocean. It's the shore that hath no shore beyond it. It's the place of here and now. You can't. Wherever you go, this is the point you're operating from this island set in all the sea. So apply that to the here and now, reality of here and now, just this metaphor of the island. And I've contemplated this for many years because I like doing this. I have a natural inclination toward this kind of reflectiveness. And there's years ago when I had only about 3 Vassas. I was at Tamsangpet, which was my favorite monastery in Thailand at the time. It's now in the Amnat Chalern, but it was a place I really liked. And I did a lot of this kind of reflection, had a lot of insight during the 2 years that I lived in this place. And I was reading William James's book, Varieties of Religious Experience, which is a kind of classic of William James was a philosopher, English philosopher of the 19th century. And he wrote this book, Varieties of Religious Experience. And at the very end of it was this quote by Swinburne, the poet. And it's this, and it was at the very end of this book, Varieties of Religious Experience, and that struck me at the time as being, something to reflect from, because this was the insights I was having. The shore that has no shore beyond it, like the island. You can't. Wherever you go, you're this island itself. There's no other shore. So mindfulness then is this ability, where we put ourselves in that center point on the island. We say, for example, you are the island. You can't get beyond it. Set in all the sea, everything, so the rest, all around you is the sea or the world. Where on a personal level, how your personality works, the Sakyaditi, is about I'm this person sitting here and I want to go there, and if I go to India and sit under the Bodhi tree, I'll get enlightened, or I've got to go to Thailand, or go to the Himalayas, live in a cave, or find the right teacher, or there's always this sense of me as a separate entity that has to find something, has to get something I don't have, or find the right place, or the right person, or whatever. So that the Sakyaditi is a very conditioned illusion, that if we don't break through it, if we don't get beyond it, then we're this kind of like the Flying Dutchman, a hopeless wanderer in the world, forever searching for our partner, our mate, our perfect situation, seeking, it can't die, forever stuck in immortal physical form that can't die, and just wandering around the samsara. That's the image I have of ignorant human individual lost in the samsara, going from one lifetime to another, just looking, searching, trying to find himself or herself, trying to find the right place. But this is the Buddha is pointing to here and now Dhamma. It's not something that you have to go looking for. It's a matter of awakening to it. This awakening then is reminding here and now. So it's like remembering. The Four Noble Truths is about here and now. It's not about me trying to analyze why I suffer, what's the cause of my suffering, who is the creator of suffering, and thinking of it from the Sakyaditi level. It's about there is suffering, it should be understood, there are the causes, they should be let go of, there is a cessation, should be realized, there is the path, it should be cultivated. So in the Sutta Nipata, they also quote this, because this is one of my favorite verses, was the island that you cannot go beyond. Well, contemplate this during this retreat, this metaphor of the island. It's a place of nothingness. So you give up trying to find something. It's, you can't get beyond it. So that sense of searching and looking and desiring and trying to change things according to your likes and dislikes, you can begin to see that. It's like you suddenly switch from being this kind of lost, wandering person into this awareness itself. being this awareness. And then in T.S. Eliot, from the Dry Salvages, men's curiosity searches past and future and clings to that dimension. So it's like curiosity, isn't it? What is curiosity? That's always looking, being curious, trying to find something. Something over there, I'm interested in that, because I'm curious, so I go over there. Over here, somewhere else. But searches the past and the future and clings to that dimension. So this is a statement of ignorance, isn't it? It's curiosity, man's curiosity, caught in time, the hopeless, wandering, lost soul in the samsara, searching for himself. And then apprehend the point of intersection between the timeless and time. And that's mindfulness, isn't it? The point of intersection between the timeless and time. It's not about past or future and clinging to perceptions of, in the future I'll get something, I'll become an enlightened person, or I'll have insight, or the past, clinging to memories of the past. So I always like that, the point of intersection. Apprehend, the word apprehend, the English word apprehend is a good word, it means to recognize here and now. Apprehend the point of intersection of the timeless with time. And so this is like the unborn, uncreated, unformed, unconditioned. And then there is escape from the born, the created, the formed, the conditioned. Because there is the unborn, uncreated, unformed, unconditioned. Well, what is that right now? Is that just, you can just memorize the words. But the reality of it is here and now, isn't it? Awakened. The individual being awake, mindful, from the shore that hath no shore beyond it. So each one of us is in this term, in terms of the existential reality of this moment, is this island. This is a metaphor for being born in a form, having a human body that has its span of time to live. It has a past, it has a future. The future is death. The past was birth. And from this point, because when we identify with the body, then it's we always have this feeling of separation. Vulnerability. I'm this vulnerable human body. I'm the age of this body. I'm a male or female. I'm, then it goes into the whole proliferating identities with conditioned phenomena. And this is what society imposes and believes in and reinforces, these delusions of a separate self, a separate soul, right and wrong, good and bad. And so awakening is this imminent reality of here and now. It's just this. So it's not a destruction of the personality, but it's transcending the personality. We're not trying to destroy our personalities, because then that would be dualistic again. Personality is bad, we should get rid of it. But it's not about getting rid, it's understanding, apprehend, to be able to see Sakya Ditti as an object from this point of consciousness in the vast universe that we're engaged in at this very moment. So each one of us has this, is this island. We have to experience this whole universal system from this point of here and now, within the restrictions of the human bodies we have. We'll contemplate that, what that really means, whether it's a healthy body or unhealthy, young or old, male or female, fat or thin, tall or short, black or white. It's this point, it's a conscious point of consciousness. The body was born, and in that birth of the human body, it becomes, it's a conscious form, it's a point of consciousness in the universe. So it has a sense of separation. And then we are conditioned to identify with the body. We develop our personalities, our values, our principles, our fears and desires. And then with awakened awareness, then consciousness is no longer, we're not projecting conditions into it or operating from perceptions of me and mine and cultural attitudes and the thinking process, but from pure conscious awareness without distortion of the conditions that we can easily grasp if we're not aware. So in the Ajahn Amro's book, The Island, this is a kind of, it's very good actually, a kind of exploration of this metaphor, and using quotes from the scriptures from Luang Por Chah. Because this is how we learn. We can learn from these metaphors, but not kind of analyzing or getting caught up in mythology or anything, but using them for applying it to the here and now, like taking refuge in Buddha, Bhutang Saranang Gacchami. That can be just part of Theravada Buddhism, Buddhist ceremony, and we request the refuges and the precepts, and then the monk says Bhutang Saranang Gacchami, and the people repeat it. Ceremonial. But then, internalizing that, it's not just, believing in some kind of abstract Buddha or in perceptions of Buddha, because this will always make Buddha seem something separate, like it's a historical sage, or it's a kind of force that we can imagine, a kind of Buddha nature out there. So we can abstract it and create all kinds of theories about Buddha nature, or the Buddha within, or the Buddha throughout the universe, and Buddha energy and Buddha mind, and proliferate endlessly around the word Buddha, or just never really think about it, just repeat like a parrot, Bhutang Saranam Gacchami. But these three refuges have great significance in practice, because this is what I call internalizing them, so that they're not just traditional recitations in Pali words. Actually, what is Bhutang Saranam Gacchami at this very moment? Taking refuge in Buddha. And this is a self-enquiry. What is Buddha at this very moment from this island, this point of consciousness? And of course it is a convention like any other word, but for me, when I think of Bhutto or Bhutang Saranam Gacchami, it reminds me of awaken, here and now, Paccuppanna Dhamma, the knower, the ability to apprehend the point of intersection between the timeless and time. This is like refuge in Buddha. It's not speculating or me, my personality, kind of claiming to be Buddha at all, but it's merely using these words for remembering mindfulness, Paccuppanna Dhamma, here and now. So the mantra Bhutto is not a matter of attachment. It's not just to use it as a kind of chant mantra, but it's actually internalizing it. So it's a reminder, it's remembering, sati sampajanya, remembering the present moment. Because if we don't recall or recollect or apprehend this present moment, then we do live in this curiosity, the past and the future. And we cling to that dimension. We believe in the future and in the past. Hopes for the future, enlightenment in the future, success in the future. Or maybe it's all going to be the other way. Failure, old age, pain, misery, loss, depression about the future, or the past. People have regrets about the past, or resentments about things happening to them in the past that you remember. Or we have, if you have happy memories, so one can remember the good old days when I was young, the happy days when life was sunshine and roses. And now old, lonely old man. But my youth, I was really somebody when I was young, but now. So old people sometimes, they always they can go back and tell you endlessly about their past, their youth. Clinging to that dimension of the past or the future. But to apprehend the point of intersection of the timeless with time is an occupation of the saint. But then it goes on into not an occupation either, but a lifetime in self-surrender, selflessness. Ardor he uses. So it's not just a kind of, resignation, passive, negative resignation to the present. It's an awakened, vital ardor of attention, mindfulness, sati sampajanya. Sati panya is not some passive blankness. It's discerning. It's full. It's effulgent, radiant. But when we get caught in the past and the future, then we lose that. We cloud over. Our radiant nature is lost into regrets or longings or fears, dreads, hopes, expectations, worries, all the things that the self, the sense of the binding ourselves to these conditions, we're lost in this dull world of conditioned phenomena. It makes us dull and stupid. So during this, emphasizing this opportunity of this community retreat, and that's why to be silent and look inward, so that you're reminding yourself when we go out and endlessly seek distraction through talking to others or computers and laptops and getting caught up into duties and responsibilities, then our personality easily takes over. The Sakya Ditti Silabhata Paramasa Vichikicca tend to reinforces those fetters. And we forget, Paccuppanna Dhamma, because, the world, the samsara is about, doing this now for a result in the future, planning the future. Remembering the past. And the present is just merely, an unnoticed or if it is noticed, it's merely, from the self-view. I'm here now, I like this place and I don't like this place, or I'm happy now or unhappy, so that the present moment even gets corrupted into some kind of personal view, evaluation, judgment, distortion. So see these conditions, like they distort consciousness. We're seeing, we look through distortions. Through these, if you go to these fun fairs or things, I remember as a child going to these fun fairs where they have these room of mirrors where they distort your form. So you go from one mirror to the other, and your body takes on kind of ridiculous shapes. And that's what happens, isn't it? When we're ignorant, not awake, then we live in this realm of distorted, grotesque images that we identify with. And then we lose ourselves in these distortions. And then, of course, we're frightened and anxious and worried and want things we don't have and don't want what we have, and discontentment, dukkha, the First Noble Truth, suffering, loneliness, despair. Shelley's poem, when Adonais starts with peace, peace, he is not dead, he does not sleep, he has awakened from the dream of life. He has awakened from the dream of life. It is we who, lost in mortal visions, keep with phantoms and possible strife and in mad trance strike with our spirit's knife invulnerable nothings. We decay like corpses in a charnel. Fear and grief possess us and consume us day by day, and cold hopes swarm like worms within our living clay. Awakening from the dream of life, from the dreams, the attachment, blind attachment to conditions. So this is like avijja, bhajya, sankhara, sankhara, bhajya, vijnana. So like paticca samuppada, avijja, not knowing Dhamma, ignorance, in other words. So avijja means ignorance of the truth, of ultimate reality. It means not knowing the unborn, uncreated, unconditioned, where we're just helplessly caught in the born, the created, the form, the conditioned. That's avijja. So avijja affects everything around us. When we come from avijja, from sakkaya ditthi, from silabbata paramasa, from vicikicca, when we operate from these fetters and create the world from these distortions, then that avijja affects all sankharas, our whole experience of life. How we see the universe, ourselves, and the world around us is through ignorance, and then of course that affects this conscious moment, because we're conscious entities, and each one we're experiencing pure consciousness at this moment. But with this avijja, if that's our modus operandi, that's what we operate from, then that affects consciousness in everything we do, whether it's sitting, standing, walking, lying down, breathing, monks or nuns, young or old, whatever. Everything is then affected by ignorance, and it always ends up at the end, soka paritewa tukka tomanasa upayasa, grief, sorrow, despair, and anguish. So this is like paticca samuppada, or dependent origination. If avijja, then that is the cause of dukkha, of suffering. So that avijja, then my personality, me and mine, my body, what I look like, my position, my feelings, my principles, my desires, my life, my memories, my future, my past, everything operates if I don't see avijja, if I have no view, if I don't have that perspective, if I operate always from avijja, then the result is always going to be dukkha. So that's summarizing paticca samuppada. Because if you take that, avijja bhajya sankhara, sankhara bhajya vijnana, vijnana bhajya namarupa salayatana, passa vedana, and so forth. It follows that whole sequence of operating from avijja is the cause, or the result is dukkha. And then the other side, the nirodha side, once avijja, there's no avijja, extirpate avijja, deracinate and extirpate avijja. Through what? Through awareness. Awakenness. As simple as that. It's not, you have to study, get a PhD in Buddhist studies to extirpate avijja. But it's awakening here and now. So this, from this point of intersection between the timeless and time, then the perspective. You're not destroying conditions, but you're extirpating avijja. You've conquered ignorance. Then there's awakened Putto, seeing Dhamma, rather than me and my problems and my views and principles and my life and so forth. So this is like Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, these three refuges. I think they're very skillful words, because it helps to put you into that state of where your personality can be seen, not judged, where the Sakya Ditti, Sila Bhatta Paramasa Vicikicca can be observed. Putto is the knowing. It's apprehending, ability to apprehend this moment, the point of intersection of the timeless with time. Then, what does the Buddha know? He knows the Dhamma. Ultimate truth, reality, is awakened to reality, to the truth. And then the Sangha is not a person. In fact, the word always conveys a sense of a community or group of people. But it's about supatipanno, ujupatipanno, yayapatipanno, samijipatipanno. This is not about, am I a good meditator or not? Am I practicing in the right way? But it's through this insight that supatipanno, that the individual, each one of us, then is supatipanno when we're aware, when there's awareness and wisdom. Ujupatipanno, direct, it's direct, clear, here and now. Insightful, samijipatipanno. Yayapatipanno, samijipatipanno, integrity, the sense of knowing from your guts. This is a knowing, and it's a profound knowing. It's not theoretical knowing. It's not conditioned knowing. So this is the gift of our human state, is that it is this is an opportunity we have for liberation at this very moment. Where sometimes Buddhism gets so heavy with views and opinions and it just weighs you down with all the information about Buddhism. Now there's so much information in so many different languages about Buddhism, and then the internet, and then websites, Buddhist websites, everything there's so much information that it makes Buddhism look, like a very complicated, almost impossible religion. Or is it a philosophy? People ask me. No, it's not a religion, it's philosophy. No, it's psychology. No, it's... But if you really take this, it's the Dhamma is not a religion or a philosophy or psychology. It includes all those. So you can, this teaching is both, it can be seen as philosophy or psychology or science, religion, because it's about the way it is. It's not kind of put into a category of something or other, like religion and science. In the West, isn't it? They tend to separate religion and then there's science. Religion is all about believing in deities and hocus pocus and that kind of thing, mumbo jumbo. In the last retreat, somebody wrote me a letter about mumbo jumbo, hocus pocus. That's how they when we do the chanting, and we kayena vachaya vacheta, we all put our heads onto the floor. This person, hocus pocus, mumbo jumbo. That's how they see it. Because they see it from a particular point of view, and then we can, if we're engaged, if we're committed to this tradition, then we can also be blinded by our own tradition. If we're not practicing, if we're not supatipanno, then we become Theravadan Buddhists, and then as we identify with Theravada, then we form opinions about other religions, other forms of Buddhism. So it's not about, grasping convention and aligning yourself with a convention out of ignorance, sakya ditti, siddhabhata paramasa vicikicca, but using, it's a tool for use, it's an expedient means. It's a very skillful tool, but if you use it wrongly, then it's not the tool's fault, is it? So, see the directness of this, it is threatening in many ways, because the self is being, it's like, it can be rather terrifying, because if I don't have a self, and who am I? And we can become emotionally quite frightened by emptiness, or the idea of complete surrender. And from the Sakyaditi level, this is a big threat. I have to surrender everything. I have to give up everything. I have to let go of everything. I have to examine the Four Noble Truths, and I have to practice. And so we can take all these skillful means from the Sakyaditi level. And where does it take you? It becomes compulsive, it becomes part of, a sense of ourself. If we don't practice from enough, or then we doubt about our practice. Maybe I'm not practicing right. Tell me, Ajahn Sumedho, how to practice rightly. Because I don't know, I'm afraid I'm making a mistake and I'm doing it all wrong. Could you tell me how to practice rightly? Practice in the right way. You guide me, Ajahn Sumedho, and tell me what to do. And then I trust you. But everyone who says they trust me inevitably don't in the long run. Because, it's coming from Sakyaditi, and seeing me through Sakyaditi, seeing themselves through Sakyaditi, the self-view. So it's not pointing to anything other than the here and now, Paccuppanna Dhamma. Wake up. I can't wake up for you. I can't even tell you how to wake up. It's just something you do. So the invitation to wake up is It's not something that one can make someone else do, or even describe. So these images, like the island, the metaphor, these are, use them for the here and now. Just get a feeling for being the center. Because this is not Sakyaditya anymore. Not saying I, Ajahn Sumedho, am the center of the whole universe. It's not megalomania. But it's about examining this present moment, because right now, in terms of experience at this very moment, this point of consciousness that I'm experiencing through this form that's sitting here on this high seat, this is the island, this is the center point, and the rest is all the sea around it, all the waves, the fish, everything that is in the sea around this island. And then that metaphor is, there's no point in searching or trying to find any other place, but recognize, to apprehend this. This is it. This is the island. This is the unborn, uncreated, unformed, unconditioned. This stops the thinking mind. You try to think about it, you can't, you just get more and more confused. Like Ajahn Chah would say, your brain will explode, trying to figure that out with the dualistic thought. So this is where it's this imminent, awakened, realizing, apprehending this point of intersection of the timeless with time. And then it is about a lifetime, living through the lifetime of these forms, their aging process, their death, the things that happen to us individually or as a group, the good, the bad, praise, blame, success, failure. A lifetime of selflessness, surrender, and ardor. I like that word ardor, isn't it? Because self-surrender and selflessness can sound very passive, just kind of lying down and letting the world go by in a kind of passive resignation, waiting to die kind of thing, sitting around waiting to die. Or ardor is this has energy, this is bright radiance, not just selflessness and surrender, but ardor also. So within these forms, these separate human forms, then there's these excellent tools that we have, the Buddha gave us. We have a way to examine our experience and to know reality, to be the knower of reality rather than somebody who's searching for God or reality or truth and through some idea of it. Always with the basic distortion of a self, the crazy, distorted mirror in the amusement park, in the fun house.